Grizzco Charger is basically an illegally modified bamboozler that only deals in tap shots. They have elite range, like right here. They have quite the insane paint pattern on the ground at least. Not so much on walls though. On walls it's rather inferior to regular chargers. Every shot deals 200 damage, it has 7 shots in its tank. And if you're using a bomb then from a full tank that is, then you still have 2 shots like here. That used to be different in the old game, you just had 1 shot after a bomb because it took 75% there, not to 70. So it has always worked in PvP pretty much. Not sure why that was different, but they changed that, and that is a good thing. Anyway, the way you want to use this weapon is you want to know exactly how many shots you need to kill what. You know, near 7 shots and this ink tank it uses itself fairly quickly. You do have a very short ink recovery delay, which is nice, so you can do like shoot, shoot. So this is actually exactly the way that you wanna play this. Alright, so let's talk about what needs how many shots, right? First up we have HP bosses, big shot as well as mouse and full floppers, although you don't really want to shoot full floppers. And mainly big shots, you need 6 shots to deal 1200 damage to them. Like 1, 2, 3, then 2, 3 again. That is a way how you can make it easier for yourself to actually count them correctly and not just vomit out all 7 of them by accident. And mouse shooting, it's actually it can be better than bombing them sometimes. If you have two of them in the comp, then by all means just shoot the thing. That's just like faster and easier than bombing it, or like other high DPS weapons. If you have just this one and no one else is shooting at it, then bombing is of course still more efficient. Drizzler is next up with 900 HP, needs 5 shots. Just count to 5 and you get it every time. The Drizzler torpedo itself, it's 1 shot always and you have elite range, so watch this guys. Grappa shield, 100 HP, that is exactly 3 shots. Then the body as well as lids and goldies and whatever else might have 500 HP. It's also 3 shots, or alternatively, you can also do like 2 shots and... because that didn't work now. Ah yeah, because it deposited. Let's try that again. And what you can do if you have an egg and enough ink, then deposits. Straight from the other side then. There we go. That is how it's supposed to look. It's very rare, I guess. I haven't done it in actual gameplay yet myself, but it's a combo that is there. The heads are 2 shots, just like with the bamboozler when you charge it. Then another word about floppers. Since you have this completely busted paint here, you usually just wanna paint the zone and then shoot the weakened ones instead of just unload 6 shots at the whole thing floating the sky. However, what you can do is shoot at it once in the sky and paint the zone. Or the other way around, doesn't matter. Then it comes crashing down and you can finish it with 1 more shot. Normally that would need 2 shots because it's 300 HP. The first 100 you can deal while it's in the air already. So that is pretty nice. Yeah, and then lids. You can... it's like rather tight aim, but let's say the eye of the fish there is the lid. You can shoot that from far away, possibly with high ground, but you don't actually need the high ground. That is really useful when they can't quite get lowered because they're in annoying positions. There's too much stuff going on. Really helpful. This says Cohawks are a very clean two-shot. You can always just tap twice. Of course I missed now once for whatever reason. Here we go. Everything else is one shot. And you've already seen it here, this weapon also pierces. Can also be used when you are dealing with multiple big shots, by the way. The only thing it doesn't pierce is like armor stuff, like Scrapper shields or Drizzler armor or whatever. Yeah, other than that, it pretty much works like usual chargers. Do this, and what you typically wanna do when you have crowds of lessers in front of you, especially when they are going through like narrow passageways and are somewhat clumped together. Something like this, sideways sweeping motion of firing. That should usually clear out the whole group or leave only very little left, and that is just one of the strongest things you can do in this whole game. Basically completely removes the whole spawn group of lessers from the field in like one very quick motion. And then we have statics. They are definitely the more annoying enemies for this thing. However, it's not all bad. First up, stingers. They have 7 pots, each 60 HP. You have 7 shots in your tanks. Basically, there is no better way to kill this with this weapon than literally just unload your whole tank at it. You might not quite have that as you're approaching. What you can do then is like fire 3 shots, refill, and then fire the next 4. And whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, this matchup, well, it actually entirely depends on the situation. The good thing is you can hit stingers from across the map, so you don't actually have to physically get there like most other weapons. Can be especially useful when there's a whole lot of stuff in front of them. And you can like shoot just past it and at the stinger. Jet Scratcher cannot always do that. But still, having to use your whole ink tank, it can be bad at times. Right, and then we also have fish sticks. They are easily the worst matchup for this. You can shoot them from the ground, of course, and chances are you might actually hit 2 flare rays with a shot. Which makes it at least, like, not worse than Undercover Brella or anything. Yeah, try to not spend too much time on fish sticks with this. However, do feel free to paint up the thing. Although be mindful, because again the wall paint is rather bad, that you basically need to hit it twice, like once at top and once in the middle, and have it painted. So that would be useful for a teammate, so that they can get up if they need to and stuff. Alright, that is the bosses. Now some stuff about night waves with this. First up, Mothership. This is the best weapon you can get in Mothership. You can hit Chinooks from pretty much everywhere. Like it should be hard to miss any with them. And when things get dicey with, like, SS because somehow you have Chinooks are missed and stuff, then you can also just clean them up quickly. Just pay attention to the comp and to what else is happening on the map and stuff. Yeah, just be adaptive. Everything will be fine. Gorillas. This is also a really good weapon for gorillas. Takes 3 shots to solo stun a gorilla. Because for whatever reason it takes 401 damage instead of just 400. Unless they changed it. I don't actually know right now. However, you don't actually... Gorillas is a bit of an exception to the rule of counting your shots, because I mean, after you stun them, what do you wanna do? Right, you wanna just hit them. So as long as you are making sure that you are hitting the thing, you can actually just spam out your whole ink tank. just make sure that you're actually counting your shots, not doing something like this. You wanna avoid that, like, just unload a few, refill, unload some more again, fill, shoot, done. Also, as I showed it, like, no, like, it should never take that long, like the gorilla should die faster than that, too. Yeah, you get the idea. And as far as positioning in gorillas goes, stay far away from the small fries. Or in other words, you can also try staying like far away from teammates, or rather like at the outermost edge. Like have the gorilla on one side, then come all of your teammates and you are like at the very back end of the group. That means that the small fries should usually not reach you. Because as you can imagine, this weapon does not do super well with the hordes of small fries. Sure, you can always just shoot a bit into the groups of them to thin them out, which is very much appreciated. You do not want them rushing your face, try to avoid it. Right, next up Rush. Well, in theory, you would think this would be really nice for filtering with piercing and range and stuff. It's actually rather tricky. I mean, I'm personally doing it right at the very start of the wave. Later than that, I'm only doing it when literally no one else is doing it and kinda need it and stuff. But yeah, what should be the default approach for this is simply that you play defense. That is, watch where the goalies are going and possible other straggler chumps. Shoot them. But yeah, especially the goalies. Shoot the goalies. And while you're doing that, you can also run all kinds of X and around and stuff. Just make sure you don't get caught or sandwiched and stuff. That is how you play this in a very similar fashion to normal charges too, except this one is actually kinda good because, you know, it can kill goalies. Doesn't have to charge for that. Now with normal charges, the thing is if you charge for goalies then you cannot run X, and if you run X then you cannot really kill goalies alone because you're just tap shotting. It's a bit of a trade-off there. You do not have this with the Grizzco charger. Right, that was Rush. Then we have... if we can handle Tornado and Mudmouth together. Prioritized Cohogs and occasionally smaller lessers, but mainly Cohogs. Just delete other Cohogs that you're seeing. Yeah, you're also really good at opening the box and Tornado and stuff. If you wanna go greedy and do the second box thing, you're the best one to open it. However, also get ready for the lessers. They spawn rather soon after you open it. You cannot throw too many eggs. And that. Cohog charge, similar thing. You are basically a walking cannon, so do not use cannons in that wave except exactly for stingers and flyfish. For everything else you wanna use your main weapon. Finally, Seeking. This is a little bit of a bonus thing, because you get hardly matters on freelance. If you like say wanna do overfishing, then this is also a really nice weapon for Seeking. Really good at opening gushers, of course, with its range and damage. Try to open as many as you can as quickly as possible. So that you find the goldie the fastest, of course, and once the goldie has been found, make sure to focus it with your DPS, like shoot, refill, shoot, fill, shoot, till it pops. And then lessers in Seeking. While damaging the goldie, make sure that you're actually not getting harassed by lessers. Or if you are, that you can line them up in such a way that you are hitting them the same time as the goldie. Yeah, kill goldie and then seek right again. Or if for whatever reason you have some downtime at some point. Like say Seeking doesn't make sense because you have too many eggs on the ground. or you're waiting for the goldie to come closer, then also feel free to help with cleaning out letters a bit. And you can always find some nice crud that you can pierce through at some point and then just do like this again. Yeah, your teammates will certainly appreciate. Right, so much about bosses and night waves with this completely insane and broken weapon. But before I leave you with that, I have a few other things to say. Specials I cannot show here, but what few people know is specials refill your ink tank. And especially if you're in wave 3 and you're like struggling with ink, or you will soon be struggling with ink, but happen to not be finding a good use for your special, then just pop that special to refill your ink tank. It can often be better than actually waiting for some opportunity to get good value out of that special that ends up never coming, you know? Yeah, that is a nice little thing to have in your repertoire. Then finally, Kozuna. This is not exactly as insane as Grizzco Stringer for DPSing the Kozuna itself, but still very much insane. You can hit him from pretty much anywhere on the map. So what you wanna do is basically not let a single droplet of your ink go to waste. So you're shooting him, then you're moving, shoot him again before your ink tank goes back up to full, shoot him again. Yeah, do stuff like that. However, since this is also the best weapon at controlling the wave itself, that is clearing out bosses or cohogs, to keep a good eye on control there. Like, you are not exactly soloing the Kozuna, still he has a lot of HP. If you see that your team can handle the bosses while you're damaging him, then fine, go ahead. If there is any reason to be doubtful about that, prioritize the bosses still. Then only shoot at Kozuna once you have nothing else to do, and I got an ink. Right. That will be my whole monologue about Grizzco Charger.